Hello everybody, and welcome back to Board Games, War Games, and Miniatures. If you are new here, thank you. Welcome to my channel. So as you all, if you've been watching for a little while, you all know I went to Dice Tower Con East this year, back in July in Orlando, and I bought several games. What I've been doing is basically playing through those games the best I can. I haven't been too successful with some of them if you've been watching. Others I've been successful, trying to get my family to play some games too. And this is the next one up on the list, Atlantis Rising. Now, let's go through the numbers. This is the second edition of Atlantis Rising. It was designed by Galen, forgive me if I can't say the name, Chiselle and Brent Dickman. The artwork is by Vincent Dutre and graphics by Peter Gifford. This game is published by Elf Creek Games, and I gotta tell you, these Elf hard to say, these Elf Creek games are beautiful. I just love this artwork that they did, and the graphics, how they put it all together. Of course, this is the second edition. I'm not familiar with the first edition, unfortunately, but this second edition was published in 2019 and currently on BGG it has a 7.7 rating. Now, it says it's 1 to 7 players and plays between 60 and 120 minutes. I've played this several times now, and that seems about right for me. Why did I get this game? I'm not gonna lie to you. I got this game really because of the graphics and the artwork. It's just beautiful. I mean, I like the title, Atlantis Rising. Over the years, I have done some reading on Atlantis. It's a very, very interesting subject, whatever you believe in this game. It turns out to be aliens, and the island of Atlantis is sinking, and we're going to try to, I guess, build, get enough resources to build a gateway, open a gateway, and escape the island before it sinks. So I'm going to do my normal bit. I'm going to film a setup. We'll come to the table, do a setup, and I'm going to do a solo play. Now this solo play, I'm actually going to do the solo play in the rule books. Now it is a fully cooperative game, and as cooperative games go, you can solo them. I could play them with multiple players, myself, or just 2 players. But there is a specific solo bot rules that you can use. I'm going to set it up and play it as that, as a solo game. So we're going to get this to the table and start filming. All right, let's start with this setup of Atlantis Rising by Elf Creek Games. I'm going to set this aside. Here are the rules. We will refer to the rules as if we need them. I really like how they packed this game. Everything fits, and even after I sleeve the cards, everything fit. So that's really cool. It's got this plastic cover on top. Set that aside. All right, hopefully I'll be able to set everything up and it will be in the camera, and you'll be able to see everything. So this round portion here is called the Cosmic Gate board. As we play through the game, like I've done before, I don't really do a how to play video. I just play the game and we'll discuss, my decisions and how to play while I'm playing the game. But this is just a setup portion right here. So this is how the box comes. I, of course, like to sleeve all my sleeves whenever possible. And we'll just start pulling these things out. This is the library deck. I'm just going to set it right here for now. Then you have the Misfortune deck. I'm going to set this right here right now. I might try something different. I might try to mess around with the lighting a little bit. I know I've had some problems with my lighting. I don't have any professional lighting set up right now. And sometimes I get some glare on the cards, especially when they're sleeved, but hopefully I can mitigate that as much as possible. All right, next I'm going to just get some of these things out of the way. This is the Atlantean supply board. I'm going to put that up here for now. And these, of course, are what they call the counselors. These are the different counselors you have in the game. And I like what they did here. They have counselors on both sides. You have a male counselor on one side and a female counselor on the other. They both say the same thing on each side. An artificer is an artificer, but it just gives you different options, and I really enjoyed that. So you have artificer. I'm just going to set it here. You have a guardian. You have the priest or priestess. You have the astrologer. You have a mystic. You have a champion. You have an emissary. What they call an aquanaut or a seafarer. A scholar. And last but not least, an explorer. So we're just going to set them aside right now. For now, I'm going to pull these out. These are the cosmic gates that we'll be able to choose from as we do our setup. What else do we have down here? We have the mystic barriers. I'm just going to set that right there for now. I'm trying to get them in a little bit of a position of how I set the board up. I have seen online that there's a playmat for this. I love playmats. I don't have it. I'm going to probably get one as soon as I can. But right now, I do not have the playmat. You can watch those videos. It's really beautiful as well. Here's some dice. Let me tell you something. These dice, they're huge. Watch this. Oh, wow. 4, 4, 5, 1, 3, 1. I have had a horrible time with these dice. They just are not friendly to me. So I'm going to put them here. I might not use them. I did not have any success while playing with the dice that came with the game. I went down to these smaller dice that are easier to roll and had a lot more success with them. And I'm not sure which one I'm going to use when we do the playthrough. What other components do we have here? Well, we've got a nice bag of these glass beads. In the game, these are called Mystic Energy. Throw them all on the table there. Now we have some resources here. These are called Atlantium Metal. The components are really nice. I mean, I think there's I don't know if these are exclusive or if they just naturally come with the game, to be honest with you. But they're really nice. So that's Atlantium Metal. And we have the shiny gold. Move this down a little bit here. Got a pile of those. We've got some iron ore. Come on, open up. This is the iron ore that you will use to change this iron ore into Atlantium. And some beautiful crystals. There we go. Get out. Come on. All right, those are the resources we're going to use throughout the game. What else do we have here? Okay, so these are called Atlantean Volunteers. And you can, there's ways to utilize these as, come on with that, extra Atlanteans. It's a worker placement game. And you get to use these as extra Atlanteans while you play. There's ways to get them. We'll discuss that as we play. I'm not going to use these stands. These stands are for the mystic barriers. Just for video purposes, I'm just going to leave them out like this so that they're easily seen when we utilize those. You have several colors for, you know, you choose to play with. A curious thing, and I don't know why, is some of them come with, you know, your Atlantean, your counselor, and then 4 Atlanteans, and they've got this marker here, which I have never used. But some of them come with only 4 Atlanteans. There's black, there's brown, there's this kind of bluish purple, and then, oh, one more, this dark green. But then they have these ones, and it's almost like a blood red. They have your counselor and 7 Atlanteans, which is what you would utilize in the solo game. And you have, so you have that color, you have this beautiful light blue, and you have a yellow. I think I'm going to use the yellow for the game that we are going to play today. Let me open that up, pour these out. Like I said, in the solo game at least, you don't use this marker here, so I'm just going to put it back. And we have a hologram Atlantean and an automaton, a robot Atlantean. Let me get these guys out of here. You can see those, it's really cool. It's just clear, it's got a little holographic, and then a silver robot. You do utilize both of these in the solo game. So I'm gonna just add these over here for now and put these all back in the box. Lots of bags. I appreciate when they give you plenty of bags. All right, and last but not least, now we're going into the tile pieces that you use to build Atlantis, and then you use these, you flip them as it starts to sink. So I'm gonna set, I've kind of got these in specific sizes. Take those out, them. You can see that I don't know, is it just me? I just think that all the artwork on this is beautiful. The iconography, the graphics are great. Oh, here's the round tracker. It's called the wave token. If I can open it. Kind of looks like a wave. I don't know. This isn't the greatest part of the game, but we put that over here on this board and we keep track of the rounds as we play. That goes there. And we have a centerpiece for Atlantis. If this ever gets flipped over and all the other island parts are flooded, the game's over. You lose. This is a first player marker. Of course, I'm the only player. I don't need it. Back in the box. And then the power core. This is what you need to achieve at the end of the game. After you've populated all of these areas here, you'll want to do the power core, and it opens up a gate, and you escape from Atlantis and you win the game. If it hasn't flooded yet. That's a big if. I'll tell you, I played this game, oh geez, now 10 times. I played it 4 times and lost miserably before I won. Then I played it 3 more times and lost miserably before I won. And the last time I lost, it was right down to the last misfortune flip. I could have been, if it just didn't flood one more area, I had everything in place to build my gate and escape. And no, I lost. Very close, very fun game. All right, let's set this aside and let's start building Atlantis. One more bag, get out of the way. All right, so let's start building Atlantis. We're going to start with the centerpiece here. I've got a little bump in the middle of my table. We're going to try to mitigate that. Let's move these out of the way. Now, Atlantis has 6 peninsulas, say that 10 times fast, that extend out from the center of the island. And they have 3 that are called the civilized peninsulas, Jesus, and 3 wild peninsulas. So I start with the civilized peninsulas at the top, and then the wild peninsulas on the bottom. That's just how I do it. You'll see as we build. So let's start with these. We're going to start and work our way out. Get out of the way, Ted. Over here. All right. Everything's going to be in the way, of course. All right, so what I do is wherever there's a die on the peninsula, that is considered one of the wild peninsulas. And then the ones without the die are the civilized peninsulas. They're the peninsulas that have already been built, I guess. And then these are not built yet, but these really are very important. So I'm going to start with the bottom here. This is a 4. You'll see as we build. This is a 5. And this is a 6. Basically, what is this showing me? Well, it's showing me that I need to place my Atlanteans on these discs. I can place up to 3 on this location. And then I have to roll a 4 or higher for each one that I put on that location to gain an ore. Same here, I need to roll 5 or higher to gain a gold. Here, 6 or higher to gain a crystal. So let's populate those first. And I'll try to explain. So these with the dark green are what they call the forests. All right. Let's move down the line. Where are you, forest? There you are. Now, as you see, as we move down the peninsula, where are you? There you are. All right. So this is the completed forest peninsula. As you can see, as you work your way up, you can actually add more Atlanteans to build this resource. Down here, you can only place one down here, but the die roll is only 4+ to gain a crystal. So it's easier to get the crystal. You just can only get one. As you move up now you've got 5 and you can place 2 Atlanteans, so theoretically you could gain 2. There are other ways to mitigate that and make that even more. But as you see, as you go up, 5, 5, 6, 6, 6. As the peninsula sinks, you flip it over, you can no longer use that. All right, that's how it works. But there are things you can do to mitigate that as well. Even go back and flip these back over and use them again. All right, so there's the forest. I usually start with the forest. Then we're going to go, this is the hills. All right, there's that one. Where are you? The hills. Oh, I should have put this in better order for y'all. The hills. The hills. And last but not least, the hills. And you can see with the hills now you gather gold at the furthest area from the center. You could get gold with just rolling a 3 or higher, but you can only place 1 Atlantean there, so you can only gain 1. Then it goes 4, 4, 5, 5, 5, and that's normally how it goes throughout all these locations. The last wild location is, whoops, wrong one, Ted. Is the mountains, and this is where, what are you doing? All right, and in the mountains, this is where you gather ore, which you then take to the city, to the forge, and build Atlantium. All right, so you can see this is pretty fun, building these peninsulas. I mean, it takes a while, but it is what it is. There you go, there you go. They fit nicely together. It's really cool. And there you go. Now with the mountain area, you can start as low as 2 and get an ore, but you can only get 1. 1 Atlantean can go there. Then 3, 3, 4, 4, 4. Of course, the further you are at the end of the peninsula at the beginning of the game, this could flood and ruin all your plans that you've made. That happens to me a lot. All right, next, I usually put the forge world part here. It's just across from the mountains where we need ore. All right. That's the first piece. Get out of my way. Here's the second piece. The third piece. Very ingenious how they fit these together. Watch out there. And last but not least, where are you? All right, that's the forge location. Again, start with 1 Atlantean, 2, 2, 3, 3, and it takes ore. This is really nice. 1 ore, you can get 3 pieces of Atlantium. That's awesome. But here you can put 2 Atlanteans, 2 pieces of ore, you could get 4 pieces of Atlantium, and it goes up like that. All right. Next, this is just me, you can do it any way you want. I usually put the city there, and then this would be the library. Fits nicely. All right, get this out of the way because I know that's going to hit it. All right, next, what are we building? The city. Whoops, wrong one, Ted. The city is where you can go and recruit more Atlanteans. We'll talk about that as we go. All right. Rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. All right. So that's the city. Again, you can see you can put, now when you go to the city, if you go to these other areas, you could put 2 Atlanteans here. When you go to the city to recruit more Atlanteans, you have to use 2 people. So these discs you can see are touching each other. So 2 Atlanteans have to go here to be able to recruit another Atlantean. It says roll the dice. You need to get an 8 or better to get an Atlantean. But you can only get 1 at a time. Now, of course, there are, again, more cards and things that you can do that can help you and mitigate that to a degree. Last but not least is the all-important library. And why is the library so important? Well, in the library is where you're going to go and get library cards. They're very important. They always can give you something good to do. Some of them you use right away. Some of them you can keep in your hand and use later. Get out of my way. And just like the other locations on the board, the furthest part on the peninsula, you can get 2 cards and you get to keep 2 cards, but only 1 Atlantean can go there. Here 2 can go. You draw 2 cards, you can keep 1, the other one goes on the bottom of the deck. That's important because there's also a discard pile, which once they go in the discard pile, you can't get back. So when you get up here, you can put 3 Atlanteans there, you draw 2 for each one, you get to keep 1, but then 1 gets discarded, so that is never going to be able to be utilized again. So you gotta be, you kind of want to use these as soon as possible and not get to where you're discarding cards, but again, it's part of the game. All right, so this I usually put over here for now because we're not building it. Here are my yellow Atlanteans. Now we pretty much got the board all set up. Now there are some things that we have to do to get the game set up to start playing. Let's get this as tight as I can so y'all can see everything. I hope you can see everything. All right. The thing I do next is I select the counselor that I'm going to be using for this game. I think in the Kickstarter there were some cards that you could use that would make this a little bit less, a little bit more unwieldy. But basically what you're supposed to do is shuffle these up. I'm trying not to look. Just randomly shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. They're big cards to shuffle. Anyways, and then you select one. So I'm going to select this one here. And it's the Artificer. Again, I've told you before, I just play the game. So I don't know if this is the best person to start with, but this is going to be my starting counselor. This is the Artificer. And the Artificer says, when you place your Atlanteans, you may place your leader on an empty placement spot on an unbuilt component for this round only. That component is available for use by your leader and others, though following usual placement restrictions, of course. This board is also great because it does help you as you play the round. It shows the round sequence, place Atlanteans, suffer misfortunes, take actions, and it shows you may use things to place gates. You can use 4 mystic energies to place a barrier, mystic barrier. You can use 4 to, those are when you can do them. So during the place Atlantean phase, you can use 4 mystic energy to build a mystic barrier and place it to protect your peninsula. Also, you can do it again during the take actions phase. It also lets you know that the 4th step is endure wrath of gods. That's this board here. We'll talk about that as we play. It starts at 0, but it ramps up real quick. You can also use 1 mystic energy, that's these guys here, to add a library card. You can use 4 mystic energy again to place a mystic barrier, or you can even use 5 of them to unflood an area of the board. So that's pretty good. Everything's right there. So we're going to start with the Artificer. I'm going to place her here. Now in the solo game, you get your Counselor, Meeple, and 1, 2, 3, 4 Atlanteans to start out with in your bank. You also get the hologram Counselor and the automaton, the robot. We'll explain that as we go. Now, the 3 remaining Atlanteans you get to place over here, and these are where you use this area, the cities, to gain additional Atlanteans. You are successful with your die roll here, and then you can grab one. The cool thing is there's only 3, so as you're playing the game, as soon as you get 3, you kind of can let this sink because you don't need it anymore. Yeah, you don't want to let your cities sink and your people die, but it's part of the game. Same thing with the library. You can only have 4 library cards in your hand at one time. I mean, it's up to you. You can cycle through them. You can draw more and get rid of, discard. It's up to you, but you may get to the point where you can let this one sink before you're letting these sink. You can let the Forge sink once you get enough Atlantean, but these are the ones that you really don't want to sink because these are where you're getting your resources, really. Your crystal, well, once you get enough Atlantium, you don't need to worry about this one, and this one is gold. You'll see as we go. It's awesome. So that's how I start with that. The next thing you want to do is you are going to draw another Counselor from the stack, and you get to use that Counselor as your hologram. So I've mixed these all up. I've shuffled them all up. How do you get your holographic Counselor? You take the 2 off the top, and then you just basically decide which one you want to use. So the Explorer, when your leader is on a tile in a wild peninsula, the target number for that tile is reduced by 1. That's pretty darn good. The Scholar, now the Scholar is great. If I were to have drawn the Scholar as my starting Counselor, that would have been great because I would have started out with a scroll item from the library that my Counselor can use all the time. So since I can't really use that Counselor for any other things, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm going to go with the Explorer as my first holographic Counselor and put that in the discard pile. I go right ahead and set my holographic Counselor on the board. So when this leader is on a tile, on a wild peninsula tile, one of these 3, it reduces the number of the die roll by 1. So that's pretty cool. All right, what do I do next? Well, I go ahead usually and get my cosmic gates. Now, if you see in this board here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 slots. So they do give you, if you're just starting this game, they do give you suggestions of which gates to use. I've shuffled these up. I'm going to shuffle them up a little bit more. I'm just going to draw 9 random ones and see where it takes me. It's probably a bad mistake, Tad. You shouldn't be doing this, but I'm doing it for you. I'm doing it for y'all. All right, I'm just going to take the first 9 off the top. So I've got Amplification Harbor, And we'll go through these as we play the game. Spirit Seal, Astral Watchtower. Make sure I have enough room for everything. I hope it's in the camera. Oh, the trials of filming a game. I've got Epiphanius Port, Loyalty Apparatus, Soul Terraformer, Contingency Field, Matter Converter, last but not least, Secular Bulwarks. All right, so those are the 9 that I've chosen. I'm going to put these back into the box. Some of these I've never used before, I've never seen before, and they are kind of different than what the normal, the beginner game is. These ones have a lot of Atlantean utilization. You can place Atlanteans once you've built this to take advantage of whatever they are. For instance, this one here, Soul Terraformer. So to build this, it takes 2 crystals and 3 gold. So you would pay that once you've gathered it, and now you flip it over to this side and put it in a slot. Now this one says you can place Atlanteans on here. Permanently remove one of these followers from play, then unflood a flooded tile. Oh, that's not cool. And oh, this isn't the greatest. This one takes 2. See how the discs are touching? So this one takes 2 followers, and what you do is you permanently remove one of these followers from play permanently, then unflood a flooded tile. May be important, may not be, may be something I never even utilized. Let's put that back over here. Just giving you an example. We'll show more, the other ones as we play. Come back here. All right, next, we have to build the library deck. Now, there are some special cards in the library deck, and these are called artifacts. The normal library card is light tan brown and gives you benefits throughout the game. Some of them you use immediately, some you hold on to, you use at different times. But there are also these artifacts. Now, artifacts you get to keep, and they have ongoing, recurring benefits that you can utilize. So I'm going to shuffle these all up. Now, if I had grabbed that scholar, I'd be able to use one of the ones with the scholar roll on there as a starting artifact. But I'm going to shuffle these up. All right, now you take 4 of them to add to the library. 1, 2, 3, 4. These go back in the box. I'm going to just randomly put them in here. 2. Come on, baby. 3, 4. And shuffle. I know shuffling is boring to watch, but I don't trust some of these people when they say, "Oh, I'm shuffling off camera." I don't know, brother. I don't know. I'm not saying anything. All right. So there's the library artifacts that we're going to be using. Misfortune. Bring Misfortune over here. Now, in the Misfortune deck, there are a lot of bad things that happen. Some things, like this one says libraries. If you flick this card, you flood a library area. There's this other one here. It says Imperial Breach. Remove all mystic barriers from the islands. So I've got a couple of mystic barriers out here protecting my islands. Well, now I just lost them. So there's all kinds in here. We'll go through, you'll see them as we play. But you also have controlled flood. Controlled flood says flood 2 tiles in any section or sections. Mystic barriers do not prevent these floods. So even if I had a mystic barrier out there, if I draw one of these, it doesn't protect me. That sucks. Now, also in the Misfortune deck, you have Calm Seas cards. Whenever you draw a Calm Seas card, nothing happens. Man, are you hoping you get those while you're playing. So in the introductory game, and that's pretty much, we're playing the introductory level. We're not going to play, there's ways to play harder or easier. I'm just playing the normal game. In the introductory, you add 9 Calm Seas cards to the Misfortune deck. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's all of them. So that's going to go in the deck. And then these control floods, you only add 3 controlled floods. And then the rest go back in the box. All right, next we have to shuffle these into the Misfortune deck. And I'm going to randomly put some in here. Random places, come on. And then I'm going to put these 3 in here randomly. And shuffle them up. I should play some type of fun music here while I shuffle. I'm not looking. Don't look, Ted. All right, I'm going to cut these. All right, we've got our Misfortune deck. There you go. And guess what? We're ready to play. We're ready to play Atlantis Rising. All right, so next video, we're gonna start playing the game. All right, guys, can't wait to get started. Thank you.